Radio. With Dr. Ergo Phizmiz, who once kissed Lard, and Depresstival, aka Lottie, aka the Oracle of Delphi.
Yeah, I'm the Oracle of Delphi now. We'll get like that bloke on that interview the other day that we watched, the really pompous guy. We'll get to that in a minute.
Oh yeah, he's funny, this guy. We'll talk about him.
He's my nemesis.
There's so much to talk about, isn't there? And it's, it's... Times people have disagreed with me. Times have never been darker.
Hello.
Times have never been stranger. People say it must have been darker during the Cold War. And people say it must have been darker under the rise of the Nazis, and during World War II it must have been darker. Tell that to the Palestinians. Tell that to people in Lebanon.
Tell that to everyone who was murdered in the Iraq War,
And tell that to the people who are living in Israel, the minority who oppose this, who have been born in this place, and there are I'm friends with the Israeli conductor Ilan Volkov, who made this brilliant speech at the proms the other day, which was rather covered all over the world, and he goes and protests with about 200 people in Tel Aviv, and in many ways these are among the bravest people on the planet. But I mean, yes, it is irrefutably the worst time to be alive in history, because we have the amalgamation of everything, all the disasters.
And there's like several other genocides going on as well, and it's just like, how is I don't
pigeon.
And nobody even talks about anything that isn't human.
No.
Like a lot of humans don't get acknowledged as having any rights at all. No. But like for the rest of the planet, I mean, it's hardly any consideration at all.
But that doesn't mean that we're not going to have lots of fun, because as the great Norman Finkelstein, one of the great Normans of this world, said,
great Normans.
There are great Normans. And Norman Finkelstein said recently, "You can leave your revolution if we can't laugh. I'm not coming along if you're not going to laugh with me." And our society has entered this age of being performatively somber. So when Prince Phillip died, we had a few days of
music.
I never listened to BBC Six Music, but I did on the days after Prince Phillip died, because it was really, really funny, because they were only playing sad music.
Did they play like All Around Me Are Familiar
Faces? They definitely would have played that.
I think they did. It was all like sad.
It was all the saddest
music.
songs, and they were going in between. There was no radio patter. Anything like that. They were just going in between. And that was the cover of Mad World from Donnie Darko. Next up, we've got another sad song. And this went on for about 3 days.
Sweet Prince.
So we have this like performative mourning, whilst like the actual statistic in Palestine now is somewhere around the region of 700,000 people have been murdered. And I expect if I turned on Six Music right now, they won't be playing sad music.
No.
And the DJs will be laughing and joking.
Well, let's have a look what they're playing.
As if nothing has happened. Yeah, what are they playing right now on Six Music?
Right now.
You can't check this because we're pre-recording. This is time travel. Although I will say that Zakia is the only cool DJ
absolutely.
on Six Music. We love Zakia because Zakia has twice played tracks from Sami Madoun's Oud Music from Gaza. So we love you, Zakia, but the rest of the DJs suck. Apart from Mark Riley, because I gave him a kiss.
Well,
And if I give someone, I'm never going to give someone a kiss who I don't like.
they might be alright, I just don't care, basically, about
No.
like any of it anymore. I just, and that's not in a, that's just in a very sad way, so...
Yeah. So, yes, but like I was saying, it is a sad, confusing, vexing, perplexing, seemingly hopeless time to be alive. But with that, one still has to live. And one still has to laugh about things. Because it is a mechanism by which we survive, and it's also, laughter is surely on an anthropological level, laughter is like a social bonding mechanism. So much as it can sometimes be difficult to find things to laugh at, we're going to try. Additionally, today we're going to go back to one of our other regular subjects, which is our friends in the sky and the other dimensions, and we're going to give you updates about what's going on in the UFO world that for some reason nobody seems to be paying attention to. Hey, guess what? There's real UFOs. They're real.
Unless I'm just...
and everybody else.
The only way that it's not... The things we've seen, the only way that that's not real is if we were both having the same hallucination at the same time, which we weren't.
And on one occasion, the guy in front of us on the street.
And there was a bloke with a dog who was stood sort of near us.
Yeah, a man and his dog also.
And he had the same expression that we had.
Yeah.
You know, we all saw this thing, and the reason... I mean, should we carry on here with it? Well, I just have seen too many of these things now for it to not... I mean, it's obvious it's not made by a human because, frankly, there's an aesthetic coherence between all of the objects that I've seen. They are beautiful, like, they're just astonishing. And there is no way that that's being made by a human military government.
Because everything they make...
military governments, everything they make, what does it look like?
Low-hanging fruit.
Like low-hanging fruit. Well, not so much the fruit, more the sort of bit that isn't round.
Yeah, but that's still
I mean,
fruit.
it really just... Every single thing that humans make look like they're... whatever the word is that I'm allowed to say for...
Willy. I think you can say Willy.
Yeah.
That's a name.
So, you know, I mean, unless there's, like, this conspiracy within all of the military or whatever building companies that they're hidden within the inner confines of the government, there's, like, just this sort of, like, wonderful Barbara Cartland-esque aesthetic just waiting to burst out. And yeah.
Yes, of all the visualizations that there have been of UFOs since, all the sort of 20th century visualizations of UFOs through like the flying saucers and like Spielberg movies, etc., etc. None of those representations are very close to the things I have seen.
Yeah.
The closest representation to the actual what UFOs appear like, the ones that I've seen, are the representations made by the wonderful, crazy Barbara Cartland lady who ran the Unarius Institute, in the 1970s.
Yeah, they look like that.
The spaceships.
They're kind of
they look like disco machines.
They're like disco machines, and and also there was that. I kind of been looking at them a lot, and I mean, but the other thing about this, right? Whenever I talk to anyone about this, they're like, "Oh, right, what you're making out, you're trying to be pretentious, right?" Already, as an autistic, disabled, living below the poverty line for, I would say, 98% of my existence. Occasionally I get a job, so I can afford to eat for a bit, but most of the time no, whatever. you know, as somebody who's like been kind of largely sort of forced out of a lot of situations and ostracised for being autistic, I mean, does anyone really truly think that I want people to take me any less seriously than they currently do? I mean, people do not take me seriously at all. Like, people do not like me, so why would I want them to hate me even more than they currently do by telling them that I've seen like giant sort of disco triangular spacecraft hovering.
And one shaped like a big big pink Pope's hat.
Yeah, just like over the house. I mean, these things are just, I don't know, you know what I mean? You get to a point where you've seen so much of this stuff, then you just don't know what you're supposed to do with the information. Like, you know, it's like, you can't carry on trying to exist within the confines of a sort of repressed, kind of petty little, like, dull, beige middle class England.
Yeah.
I'm not middle class, just to point this out. Like, but I can't continue to pretend that I care about existing in this particular thing when the things that I've seen are just render all of that redundant.
Yeah. Well, let me.
It doesn't matter.
No. Let me tell you this, dear listeners. Dr. Ergo Phizmiz, high-end Russell Group academic, with academic references that glow like UFOs, like Unarius Institute. They do glow. Let me tell you this: if academics are in any sense still to be seen as a source of veracity, first of all, that very shortly and certainly in the future, if we can survive that long, human beings will look at humans who thought they were alone in the universe in the same way we look at like pre-Copernican astral geometry. I mean, it's like it's an absurd idea in an endless universe, but life on Mars was announced the other day. But secondly, take this from high-end Russell Group academic Dr. Ergo Phizmiz: UFOs exist. They're there. I think they may be there all the time.
They may have been there before us as well. You can
interact with them. You can ask them to appear, and you know they. I don't know how else to say it, but they do. You basically use like the impulse. People describe it as prayer. I would describe it as the impulse of prayer.
Sort of the will.
The will.
Imagine, like, imagine the will is kind of like in Donnie Darko sort of thing.
And
like
it's strange because I always had like a problem with the idea of faith, this idea of unquestioning belief in the unseen, and I think that is a problem if there is a control system that's asking you to have faith and as a component part of the control system. But with the UFOs, it is just literally true that, because even after seeing all the things I've seen, I have these moments of doubt, you know.
Yeah.
Because of society,
all my life.
But the fact is, if you look up and you concentrate, you know, with your like heart and your mind, your goddamn solar plexus, your belly, and really just try and concentrate all of your thoughts, if you have any, up into the cosmos, and ask to communicate.
Be nice.
Yeah. Don't be.
Don't like get them to turn up and then like be, you know.
Yeah, but you know, I'm sorry to say this, but this is, if we can survive long enough, obviously interstellar. Interstellar communication is and interstellar travel is the logical path.
Yeah. I mean,
of any species which, you know, goes out to discover things while they are going to want to explore space.
If we were, you know,
and they're there, and you can ask them to come and see you.
If we, you know, like, sort of, even if we weren't seeing these people. There is definitely in an infinite universe at least one instance of a species managing to travel about in space.
Yes.
And a lot of the things that people are suggesting, like is it the Akiri drive and everything about kind of travelling by moving space-time around you, are hypothetically theorised and have been for years, and I'm not entirely sure why we assume. I mean, it just sounds like religion to me, like saying that no, there's no developed civilization anywhere. That just sounds like propaganda, because like where's your prove to me it's not real. Like that should be the impetus. Prove to me there aren't any other civilizations, not prove to me there are civilizations, because it's just very, very human centric, isn't it? And even now, when at sort of like, even if we weren't being visited, sort of not believing, but assuming that this stuff is, that there's civilizations out there who are well developed, is a better way to live. Like, call it the intergalactic panopticon. Like, moderate your behaviour on the basis that somebody might be watching us.
It creates an aspiration.
If we've got telescopes that can look at other places, then someone else has got a better telescope than us, for sure. And you can see the heat radiating off of this planet in space, and all of it, you can see us destroying this planet from space. So act like someone is watching you, which they probably are.
Yeah, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Aliens who are really annoyed with your behaviour and conduct are coming to town.
I mean, no one will believe me, but I met a 7-foot mantid guy.
Lottie met a 7. Lottie, well-read, brilliant, intellectual, empathetic, sensitive, intelligent, bright as a button. When we were in Florence, had a long interaction with a 7-foot praying mantis in a robe, which at the time,
sort of St. Francis type,
which at the time they thought was the god of the cows or something, because it took them on a weird journey through some, like, an infinite abattoir or something, which, is pretty much Earth if we kill 3 land animals every single minute.
3 million.
And that's what I said.
You said 3.
You said 3
yeah.
million. And it was only when I admit I'm open, I don't hide anything. I watch ghost videos. I love watching ghost videos on YouTube and UFO videos and things. And we were watching a UFO video where somebody started talking about the mantids in their robes, etc., etc. We'd never heard anything. Lottie was able to validate from this information that that was the same creature that they had met in beautiful Firenze.
Because I verified this guy on the basis of his clothing.
Was it after you'd done the special ritual for Galileo?
Oh yeah, it was actually. Oh wow, that's weird.
You did a special ritual for Galileo in front of his tomb, because Santa Croce in Florence is like one of the most amazing places you can go to in terms of feeling this vast weight of history. It's Santa Croce where Stendhal invented not invented but experienced what later came to be described as Stendhal syndrome, where you are overwhelmed by the weight and beauty of art and history and human achievement, the weight of the past, etc., etc. And it was in Santa Croce, I expect mitigated by the experience of generally being in Florence, because if you stand in Florence, I remember the first time I went, because I've never gone anywhere on holiday, but I've been lucky to go to very, very beautiful places.
I went to Leicester on holiday once.
Oh really?
Yeah.
How was Leicester?
Yeah, it was
Leicester.
Yeah, it was great. I stayed in this really cheap hotel. It was nice. Yeah. Anyway,
but the first time I went to Florence, I was there on my own, wasn't I? You stayed in England and I went on my own. And I was lost on a street corner, of course, trying to find the venue. On like the second day, I'd already found it the first day. Second day, I couldn't remember where it was, and walked for about 3 miles in the wrong direction. I was stood in a street corner with a stupid phone out, trying to get a map thing to work, and it wouldn't tell me which way was which way and what way was what. And I felt like someone was looking at me, and I turned around, and what was looking at me was, as far as I remember, a statue by Donatello, just standing on the street corner. So Florence has this effect on you anyway, but then when you go into Santa Croce Church, and it's in front of Santa Croce where they play that huge sort of weird football game, where the whole city takes part. But inside Santa Croce, you stand in the middle of it, and the graves and tombs there are of Galileo, Dante, Michelangelo, Machiavelli, and some more modern names like Marconi, and also Rossini is there. I'm buried here among the luminaries. He's there with his jolly music.
Yeah.
So if they're having like a ghost party at night, Galileo, Dante, Michelangelo, and Machiavelli.
I mean, that's nice, isn't it?
But then they have music by Rossini.
That's a good sitcom.
Yeah, they have music. It's a really great sitcom.
It would go off into lots of aesthetics.
Santa Croce, the sitcom.
Yeah, and like, you know, it would just, you wouldn't have to sort of, like, just, you know, clever people are funny, so
Yeah.
it would be really niche humour. So.
Yeah, but Stendhal was in Santa Croce, and he melted. His brain melted because he was overwhelmed.
Yeah, me too.
By the beauty. And yeah, me too. My brain melted that day and was transformed.
Yeah, I think I remember weeping
Actually.
in front of Galileo's grave.
Well, tell them about the ritual you did in front of Galileo's
we were.
grave.
This was later on, wasn't it? Didn't I go back? It was.
No, that was
Oh,
the
no,
first
wait a
time.
minute, that was
First
the first
time we
time.
went to Santa Croce.
Oh right, in that case it wasn't after that.
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It was the next time.
Oh.
Because yeah. But I saw a mantid just before. I saw the big one.
Oh yes, we did. We had a praying mantis on the doorstep.
I don't know, like, people can probably try and dismiss it as rubbish, but, like, as I said, like, you know, no one takes me seriously anyway. I'm not autistic, and so I don't know why I'd want people to think that I was weirder than they already think I am.
But the funny thing about being somebody who's seen all of this stuff, and I've seen people
I can't deny it
in
anymore.
interviews.
It's easier
like,
if I admit it.
The
for my
fact
life.
is, if people say, "Well, that's rubbish," you just don't care.
I mean, yeah, I just don't get it. I don't know what to, you know, like, it's more just sort of like you see this, like, thing which is sort of like, I mean, it's pretty full on what I saw. I was sat up and in a kind of trance, which again people can dismiss it, but as I said, I dismissed it, you know. But then somebody else described his clothing, and what he did. So I don't know. Like, lots of people have talked about meeting these like 7 foot mantid guys with glowing eyes. And I didn't even know about it. Like, I found out about
You
it.
contextualised it from a later.
Yeah, from a later description of the guy, and then it was just like bizarre. Like, I mean, I don't know. My kind of inner world is fairly. I don't really talk about it much, really. In the actuality, because again, as I said, no one takes me seriously and no one's interested in my life anyway, hence why I am on local radio, because otherwise I wouldn't ever talk. So then if you stop talking, then that means you start getting kind of selective mutism things if you're autistic, or situational mutism, so I actually have to keep talking in order to be able to function in society. Because otherwise I'll just do a with now and I and run off to the middle of Northumberland or something. Anyway, so yeah, like, somebody described his clothing, his cape thing, and the thing about it is like he was doing a sort of waggle dance. There was a kind of humming, and his eyes glowed golden. And then the next thing I was above, like, a feedlot, but it felt like it was indoors. But I was very aware that it was all of the things that were being, the cows that were being killed specifically at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And as in, like, I could smell it, I could see it, I was in the air above it, and there was just blood everywhere, and I could smell it, and was screaming, and like, my heart was going up, and then I was screaming. And like, you know, whatever, dismiss it as a dream, but like, what is it that it says in what is it? It says in Buffy, you know, it's kind of, I can't remember. It's like, how do you know it's not a dream? If you're running around in the supermarket naked, that's a dream. It's sort of apocalypse vision.
Yeah.
But the thing of identifying it on the basis of its clothing, their clothing, his whatever, and also just the thing of like doing a waggle dance to transmit a message, and you know, maybe they've got a high pitched frequency that we can't hear, or like the insect behaviour with the waggle dance correlates to behaviour of insects, and the thing with the eyes, I was reading about mantids, and they have telescopic vision, and they have to like move back and forth to get it to work, like a stereoscope, and they've got a little dot in the middle of their eyes, so they look like they're looking at you, but they're not. It's kind of like Vantablack in the middle of the eye, and it absorbs all of the visible light. So I was thinking, if it's kind of I don't know, that feels like I can't explain it. But you know, doing the thing with the vision, and then the image happened after that. Yeah. I don't know enough about bugs to have, for my subconscious really to have come up with all of this. Yeah. I'm not that creative. And also, if other people are seeing the same thing, and it's got the same behaviour, and the temperament of the guy was, as lots of other people talk about, it was like, I wouldn't want to say telepathic communication, it was sort of beyond words communication. It felt like solidarity. It felt like, what it felt like was he was saying, like, you are living on an abattoir planet, you're right to feel insane, was what it felt like, but it wasn't in any words. I can't explain how. It was a message that had many layers that was sort of very, very elegant and complex, and more than like the humans.
But the strange thing about this is we talk about the difficulty of transcending language, etc., etc., etc. But when you make a painting, the painting can just be a picture of a hill, but also the painting can can communicate many things, and can communicate layers of meaning, and can cut back through history. So I think in many ways this kind of telepathic communication might be similar to looking at a painting and being to spontaneously analyse the entire painting.
Exactly. That's what I mean. When the guy was communicating with me, I mean, this is why I think I just can't, like, you know, that wasn't like a dream. Like, I can't, it was like walking around in, like when you're sleepwalking, basically. Like, kind of, you know, I'm narcoleptic. I mean, I know that makes it sound like it probably didn't happen, but like, you know, that's what, it wasn't a dream.
Yeah.
It was kind of like being in a sort of trance, like I get into when I'm sort of really, I don't know, really depressed and stuff like that. Or like, I can't explain it, you know, like when you get into these sort of weird kind of meditative states. So I kind of felt like I came out of sleep and the guy was there at the foot of my bed doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I was sort of watching him writhing about, and like could observe the material moving, and then could smell all of the blood. So it, but I don't know. Like, I don't really know what to do with this information, and no one believes me anyway.
Well,
so.
I think for all of the
but other people talk about it. Sorry.
For all of the conspiracy theorists and all of their random, strange ideas, I think there is one big conspiracy, and it has its roots in, I guess, 13th, 14th century when we say the Catholic Church, but it's difficult to contextualize that kind of thing, because at the time the Catholic Church was not the same thing it is now. The Catholic Church was basically the world government, of the West, and the witch burnings were all part of this. There was this process, which I first read about when I was writing an opera about the history of yodeling, and it was in a chapter about how the classical technique of singing is about refinement, but it's also about eradicating the rough edges of the human voice and turning it into a particular thing. And in the context of that book, a wonderful book by Bart Plantenga, who's written a few books about yodeling, I can't remember which one this was, this sort of standardization of the voice in singing practice incorporated, like literally there have been many places where like yodeling has been banned. There was a quote from, so I can't remember, it may have been from an early, one of the Pope's letters, forbid in our choirs babbling, thundering, or sibilant voices, for these practices sing more vanity and folly than of religion. So you had to sing in this extremely standardized way. And at the same time as this, there was a deliberate, across the whole of Europe, people went around going to villages and basically destroying the local culture in the village by removing what had historically been the mainstay of like life in Europe, was that most villages had a wise woman. And the majority of people, and this is I think to me this is a natural inclination. If you're talking about a god, well, you would naturally refer to a goddess rather than a god, because of the whole idea of the mother. The father can't make babies just by walking down Raleigh Road, can he?
Might try though.
Yeah, he might try. And so the witch burnings, etc., were all part of this thing, Entzauberung, which means disenchantment. And what it was about, disenchantment, when it was happening, I'm terrible with dates, but I would say 13th, 14th century. It lines up with things like the Spanish Inquisition also, things like that. It was about removing the rituals and practices of local cultures and turning everyone towards this one God idea, and very vitally, not just the one God idea, but male God idea. And so you get rid of the wise woman, you tell everyone that God is a man. Pardon?
God's a white man as well.
Oh yeah, he's white as well, yeah, of course. And then you end up standardizing everybody's belief system, but also part of that was the statement of any kind of traditional practices, herbalism, or who knows, were declared as against God and witchcraft. So actually what they did was they went around and standardized everybody's behavior and told them that apart from the Bible, that actually you are not living in an enchanted universe, and there are not fairies, and there are not goblins, and there are not little folk, and there are not weird lights in the sky. And that has extended into the 20th century. The notion of disenchantment has just, I don't think it's even that it's changed, I just think that it's because it's there as a constant, that everybody moved, not even the majority of people in this country are religious at all, are they? And it's this is a first in human history. There hasn't been civilizations without religions, because religions as much as anything else, provide like a written moral code, and humans are clearly too dumb
to really
exist without them.
I mean, I heard... Yeah, I mean, like, they think that kill doesn't mean that it doesn't apply to thou shalt not kill, only applies to certain groups, apparently.
Yeah. So my idea about the massive overarching conspiracy theory is that actually we talk about the Catholic Church doing disenchantment in the 13th, 14th century, but actually it's a misnomer to say it was the Catholic Church, because at the time what that was the government. And this same disenchantment has persisted into the 20th and 21st centuries in the form of telling us that, every single thing can be explained by the science we currently have.
Yeah.
What a hubristic idea when we live in a infinite universe, and we are creatures who don't even have the ability to comprehend infinity. Try and picture something infinite in your head. Try and picture something that goes on forever without end. See, you can't. And the great conspiracy theory, I think, is that the governments of the earth, since the medieval times, have had a system in place to use the moral codes of religion, etc., just to simply, I mean, we know this, to control people. But secondly, what is going on now with the whole idea of telling everybody that we're alone in the universe, which in a post-religious society, think of it this way, nobody thought we were alone in the universe. People believed in angels. The medieval world...
There was someone higher in the food chain. That was divine.
The medieval world believed in... They were scared to go into the woods because there were goblins in the woods and things that might drag you down to hell. The wind came out of the trees, etc., etc. And I would bet you that the first scientist who said that actually the wind isn't created by the trees was viewed as a fool and a heretic. So, be nice, kids, to your local fool and heretic.
Yeah, they might be in contact with the people higher up the food chain than you as well. Remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, the mantid guy, like, he basically, without words, informed me that they think that the majority of the human project is completely insane, and that about seemingly vast amounts of people are completely amoral sociopaths.
Yeah.
So, believe it or not, but that's, I mean, it's not really belief. Like, it happened to me. So, when we've seen the UFOs, it's not like I'm going, oh, this is like Spielberg, and going on sculpting some mashed potato. It's like, I don't even like mashed potato.
Observe.
Yeah, it's just
no,
like...
Lottie doesn't like mashed potato.
No, I really don't like mashed potato.
No.
Like, really.
So consequently, I never cook mashed potatoes, so there's not any opportunity to sculpt it.
I like gnocchi. But, actually, to be fair...
You can't sculpt gnocchi, though,
To be fair, gnocchi is made of mashed potatoes, and they do look like UFOs.
They do look like UFOs.
So there you go. That's what they look like. They look like Mr. Pod.
Yeah.
I mean, we see Mr. Pod loads, haven't we? I wrote a song about him. It's sort of like, this all kind of corroborates it, doesn't it?
It does.
Like, obviously, I've had something that's kind of akin to, like, what you would probably think is a breakdown, and have dropped out of society completely. And, when I was a kid, I never wanted to be the guy with the sign in the apocalypse. I didn't want to be the guy on local radio talking about, like, crop circles and stuff. I wanted to be, like, a lawyer or something. Like, you really think I'm doing this for fun? No,
but it does give me... It gives me great...
I mean, no, I am doing the
comfort.
radio for fun. I like the radio. But, like, meeting the UFO people, comfort, you're saying.
It gives me great comfort knowing that there are these...
Blokes.
These guys who
people
fly about and sometimes come down and visit people. Oh, Jack, they'll watch. There's some suet, some peanut suet on one windowsill, and there's seeds on the other windowsill, and Mr. Pigeon in his various generations we've got some little baby pigeons coming now. It's wonderful. With
Squabs.
and little squabs. And you can see every day at the moment, the baby pigeons' feathers are changing, which is really wonderful. But also the jackdaws come in a flurry. They come like 20 at a time and all hover outside the window, seizing and pinching bits of suet. And they go wild for the suet, don't they?
Oh yeah, they love suet. Everyone loves suet.
Yeah, everyone does.
Yeah.
Well, I made some fantastic dumplings last week.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
You know.
Lovely. It's got to be vegan suet though.
Gotta be vegan.
I'm not wanting, I don't.
Gotta, like, not.
Why do
you want bodily fluids?
Yeah. Why does this society?
Why does it want lactate?
Why does this society think that I'm the aberrant one because I don't want to eat lard?
Or like lactate from something else's teat?
No.
I mean, it's disgusting, isn't it?
I don't want to.
Like, when you can do it with like
from
porridge.
anyone's teat.
You know what I mean? I don't understand. Like, I like porridge. I've always liked porridge. So, like, porridge forms a large part of my diet in the shape of oat milk and stuff like that.
You know what? It's October now. It's getting to porridge season.
It is getting to porridge season. Porridge is really good. We've survived on porridge for a really long time. And also, right, our early ancestors, Neanderthals, didn't eat much meat. They sort of ate whatever they could get. They ate berries, or if they lived near the sea, they ate fish sometimes. If they lived... it basically just depended on where you were and what you got. So this whole thing about saying that we're supposed to eat constant meat and like bodily fluids is just, it's only been in existence since like the signing of the Industrial Agriculture Act in the late 40s, and like you all know that it's destroying the planet, and like you were all aware that.
Please, Lottie,
surely
remind me
you
of
were
the
all
statistic that's been announced recently.
Well, it's response. I think there was an article in the Guardian about it today, but like no one will report on it. But I think it's like pretty much the leading cause of emissions. I think it was higher than the aviation industry, but I mean, it's just like whatever I say isn't going to make a difference because it's all about people react extremely violently to it. But I would have thought that if you could have a system where everyone gets fed, you don't gouge out the planet, you don't have to like forcibly breed, sentient things that are the same as us and they love their children and they have friends. Yeah, like, I spend a lot of time around animals, and you can communicate with animals. They're nice. They're like nice people. They've got good hearts. And everybody, like our species, takes them all, forcibly breeds them, and then stabs them in the throat, and puts them in plastic, and then you eat it, and then it turns out into sludge.
Yeah, but
does it not?
Do
you not feel like this is like dystopia? Like,
but does it not point out the idea, the obvious stupidity of thinking that you would be alone in the universe when there's literally a massive diversity of life on this planet?
Well, you're not even the most intelligent species in the room half the time.
Yeah, is it not? What was it you were talking about?
Just putting the process of the food manufacturer taking these people.
I can't remember what I was saying. It's gone.
Well, you were talking about.
It's gone.
You were talking about sort of being, we're not the most intelligent species on the planet. Like I would have thought, like blowing up the planet sort of.
It's a sign of lack.
It's a sign of lack of intelligence, isn't it?
And like, that's what
you don't have to be a genius to destroy everything. I'd say it makes you like the stupidest person in the room, sort of
just being
mindless violence.
Yeah, just being destructive in any way is
and
surely a sign of lack of intelligence, because
it's just,
surely being constructive is the way that things move forward. I don't really know of any instances where like you kill something to make it better.
No.
As far as I know. Although there are some folk in Israel who disagree with me. But I disagree profusely with them and think they're crazy. And it's okay to say that, Because
they
guess
wanna
what?
Kill people.
Even the Labour Party have declared it a genocide now, which poor Fat Blair, he doesn't know what to do with himself. What's Fat Blair doing when he's at home? I know what he's doing. His wife is throwing plates at him.
And he's weeping.
For sure. It's like Boris and Carrie Johnson, but but he weeps and plays the flute every night.
Yeah.
But he doesn't weep for all the blood he's got on his hands. He weeps for himself. Because of the soul that is stirring to sing out from the tight little confines of his piccolo. Okay, well, I tell you what, we've been talking non-stop for pretty much dead on 45 minutes.
I wonder how much credibility I've lost, or did I have any in the first place? No. See, that's what I mean. I can't, with the talking about seeing the big mantid guy and stuff like that, what you got to remember is if you now think I'm not credible, I didn't have any credibility in the first place,
Yes.
and I'm aware of this, so why would I...
Why
would I even bother?
But I'm a high-end Russell Group academic, so I've got that extra bit of credibility. I'm a PhD guy, and I've got the extra bit of credibility. Make sure you get your PhD, and make sure you're pestering your lecturer, do it now, make sure you get your PhD, and then do it now. And because of that, I've got that extra little bit of clout where people can't say, but it says on a piece of paper that this person is intelligent, which is good because I've gone through my whole life with people trying to make out that I'm stupid, so this feels great. But what I would say is, so what I wanted to just briefly mention at this point was that an old acquaintance of yours, who's been having a lovely time watching us on the internet and getting really upset about it.
Yeah. I already say he was an acquaintance. I knew him.
Yeah, but he said that I was a bit daft for an academic.
Yeah, everybody uses the word clown now and daft. It's like very insipid insults.
Yeah, but I mean, I am kind of daft. But I think daft academia is the future of academia.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're a little bit silly whilst presenting facts, you can kind of use discussion in a way that is subverting itself as it's talking, and if you can make people laugh in a lecture theatre, then they're going to listen a bit more.
Yeah.
And I'm silly and a bit daft, and I like to wear silly things and so on. I sing a lot of silly things and silly songs, and I'll tell you why that is. It's because I'm not boring like you. But I would just like to further the idea, and I'm sure my lawyer, Sam Pradley, will help push this idea that the future of academia is daft academia. And I don't mean the kind of daft academia that exists now where they say things like, what value, if any, does a Western musical tradition have?
Western classical musical.
They
don't mean stuff like Ed Sheeran.
No, that has loads of value.
That's all fine, but sort of like Ravel, like Beethoven, Stravinsky, that sort of...
Yeah, what value, if any, does that have? Not that kind of daft academia. I want the kind of... Because, everyone talks like dark academia and all that. I want real daft academia where, you can go and do your lecture in, those glasses that make your eyes look really big, or... academia on a unicycle, but my favourite thing actually that in terms of daft academia, Goody Pal had a period, he told me, where he was lecturing a lot, doing lecture tours of America and Europe, went to Harvard and etc. And he got into this habit of he'd do a lecture one place in an American accent, he'd be English at the next one, he'd have his own accent at the next one. Because is part of the problem why people don't want to get into universities as much now, because it's really, really boring.
Oh, it's so boring.
Why is anything boring?
God, it is so
How can
boring.
you teach anything in this world in a way that is boring?
I went to, before Theresa May shut down my university department, I went to London Met and did philosophy, and it was great. It was so interesting. It was so exciting. I went into lectures and came out just sort of feeling like I understood fundamental truths, and it blew my mind. And then I went to an unnamed Russell Group university to try to pick up the pieces of my degree post Theresa May closing it down, and oh my God, it was so boring.
Yeah. Well,
it's all just about employability,
and British values.
Just sort of
they ask you to teach British values.
Oh God,
now.
it was so boring. They were talking about advertising and
Well, we're going to go to a song now. I'd like you to immerse yourself in the dulcet sounds of Darren Day, the human lyrebird.
We'll start, Joseph, with a difference with the one and the only Mr. Cliff Richard. I fancy I close my eyes, drew back the curtain to see for certain what I thought I knew. Mr. Neil Diamond. Far, far away, yes. Someone was weeping, but the world was sleeping. When a dream will do. Mr. David Essex. I wore my coat, yeah. Golden lighting, bright colors shining, yeah. Wonderful and new, Mr. George Michael. And in the east, oh yeah, the dawn was breaking, and the world was awaking. Any dream will do. The one and the only Mr. David Bowie. A crash of drums, a flash of light. My golden coat, it flew out of sight. The colors faded into darkness. I was left alone. The one and the only Mr. Max Bygraves. May I return, yeah. I suit you like a loincloth, yeah. I want to tell you a story. The light is dimming, alright, yeah. And the dream is too. Mr. Stevie Wonder. The world and we are still waiting. We're still hesitating. Oh, any dream will do.
Sound Out Radio. As we speak, because this is at the moment a pre-recorded show.
Should I turn this down slightly?
No, as we speak, the fleet of boats,
500 people,
or flotillas, as they're calling them. I don't know what the definition of a flotilla is. They're approaching Gaza, and currently on various live streams, the Israeli army are water cannoning the people who are trying to commit I'm sure what my parents would think is a terrible crime of delivering baby food.
Oh no, what terrible people.
Yeah, how awful. I was wondering how many people on this Freedom Flotilla have their parents stopped talking to them as well. Yeah. Probably quite a lot. Apparently it's quite common. It's not just me. Yeah, no. apparently it's quite common. Well, I stopped talking to them, but because I couldn't accept the repellent behaviour anymore and the repellent things that were being said. But yeah, right now, a bunch of human beings on some boats are facing on their own, without weapons, armed with food, in the freezing cold sea, are attempting to deliver some aid to some people who have been in a genocide zone for 2 years. Do you know the statistic now, Mum and Dad? Do you know how many people are dead now? Do you? Bet you don't. It's about 700,000, getting on for 1 million, and it has happened in full public view, and
people have
you had a problem that I had, that I found this repellent and wanted to be one of the voices who was standing out against it. And the reason for this was because it was obvious from the beginning what was going to happen. And people spent almost 2 years arguing about whether there was genocidal intent. Well, right at the beginning, Yoav Gallant and his really sexually attractive friends.
Oh, they're so fit.
They're so sexy.
Oh, whoa, Ben Gavir. Whoa,
Yeah.
God, what a hot human being he is.
When it all started, Yoav Gallant used the phrase in front of the world, "We are fighting human animals." Which is exactly the same language as Hitler saying Untermensch, subhuman, to describe Jewish people, but also pretty much everyone in Eastern Europe, and disabled people.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the thing I'm like, I'm pretty, I guess, just sort of, I don't know what the word is. I wouldn't say offended, more on a sort of like massive existential scale, right? I sit personally in various categories that would have got me killed in the Holocaust. I am disabled. I'm autistic. In terms of autism, like sort of Hans Asperger, a Nazi eugenicist scientist, he coined the term Asperger's, which later turned in, we don't use that anymore because it's tied to the Nazi, but what other people call high functioning autism, even though we don't really use functionality labels because they're completely misleading and blah blah blah. Look into it. So, for me as an autistic person, my kind of entire being was, and like, it's a very weighted thing being an autistic person, like politically, like everybody hates you. Like, look at, well, I don't need.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. You're imagining it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, look,
and then,
like Donald
but
Trump.
autistic people get told constantly that they're imagining it.
We shouldn't
and
be
then,
alive.
And then, interestingly, when
autistic
autistic people talk to each other, they find they're
all
all imagining it, all having the same experience,
the same
and
pattern.
all imagining it. Isn't that amazing?
Anyway, what I wanted to say was, Hans Asperger coined the term Asperger's in this. Look into it. It's, I don't know, but so the very existence of my supposed disordered whatever, blah blah blah, is tied to the Nazis. And I also recently found out that a large section of my family are Romani gypsies. So my grandfather died fighting fascists. So, like, the thing is, like, lots of our grandparents died had their lives completely ruined. Everyone had their lives completely ruined by fascism.
Pretty much everyone in this country right now, either their father or grandfather or great-grandfather or both or all fought, potentially were going to lose their life to fight against fascism. They weren't, now I'm amazed I'm having to explain this. They weren't fighting against the Nazis because they were German. They were fighting against the Nazis because
they were Nazis.
They were Nazis. And what does being a Nazi mean?
It means killing a whole number of, like, vast quantities of people and bombing an entire stretch of the planet. So, Let me think. Who's currently doing this? I mean, really, this is just insane, isn't it? Like,
Yes,
it's insane.
it is
The whole
insane.
last few years have just been about, like, semantics, about what you what you call murdering loads of people. And, like, I'm constantly having people have a go at me online about, I don't even understand it anymore, because the very conception that anyone would be gunning for kid death is just insane.
What still vexes me is that prior to 2 years ago, I still, and I promise I've spent the last 2 years racking my brains, I can't think of another moment in history or in myth even where anybody thought killing a child was
fine.
justified.
I can't think of any.
There's the massacre, and I said exactly the same thing last week in the Bible. There's the massacre of the innocents in the Bible, and I would conjecture that didn't even really happen, and is there
as
because
a parable.
yes, because the Bible
also,
is there as a moral guide, particularly. The New Testament is a much more defined set of things than the Old Testament, which is this sort of remarkable magazine of antiquity. But there's a moral code in there, and that's what it exists. And I would conjecture, especially given that many older myths also contain a massacre of the innocents and so on, I would conjecture that is in myths, because that is the thing that you don't do, that no one's ever done.
Piper type story in the Bible.
Yeah, and
it's a folk tale.
What really worries me about this is that there are all these people still, and I honestly don't think it is many people in this country now. I don't think many people are pro-Israel by this point.
Well, I mean,
it took people long enough to turn, but I don't think they are.
But for the last however long, I've noticed people scowling at me. I've had people spit on me. I've had, society is just really horrible, and I'm not going to pretend there's some big grand unified community spirit. I'm not going to pretend that there's like a feminist utopia, because I'm talking about this country. I don't know about other countries. I expect other countries have a little bit more solidarity with each other, especially poor countries.
Yeah.
But I've never felt any.
The more selfish they become.
I've never felt
and
any.
We live in a country which is 75% like really rich.
It's the amount of people that I know hate their children. It's
it's amazing.
I've very rarely felt any solidarity. If there was a big feminist solidarity thing, then there wouldn't be so many people talking about how their own female members of the family had completely destroyed their confidence and self-esteem. It just wouldn't happen. Whereas I think in other countries it's probably different. Anyway, the point I was trying to make was, this whole thing of just watching the society kind of collapse into the truth of the fact that they are totally fine to just sell out
anyone and
everyone.
And somebody else said to us yesterday,
not you, but if you, I don't get upset about this. It's you. Like, where is that? There's no empathy at all. I see very little evidence of empathy, and I'm told all the time that I have no empathy because apparently I've got a disease or whatever.
It was actually Sound Art's founding genius Lucinda who said to us yesterday something which you have been saying for a long time, that on a social level, and we say this more in a way of reaching out to people who've experienced similar things rather than the perpetrators, but on a social level, a fascist system enables similar behaviour in interpersonal relationships.
It does.
So people use the climate to bring out all of their pent-up aggression
and
against
jealousy
people
as well.
and
jealousy is a big one. I didn't realise that people
You're
were
listening,
so...
Mum and Dad.
I didn't realise people were so jealous.
I've got such an amazing academic reference.
In this country. I didn't realise people hated each other so much.
No.
Like, just the amount of people who've kind of... just... You know, really like that you can usually tell because someone will say something like, "Oh, it's all right for you," or something like that, and it's like, but it's just. I think in this country, people genuinely do hate each other, and
But it's funny.
Or they hate people like me. Or
they hate people like me.
They like to club together as a little sort of. It's just an extension of the playground, like you know. And I often wonder if a lot of it is just for stuff like wearing glasses.
Yeah,
or like,
the truth, the unfortunate truth, which I wish someone had told me about life in this society, is that the playground situation never changes. You continue to be a weird outcast standing in the corner on your own, and society continues to gang up on the autistic person.
Absolutely.
And if you're like me, that can go on so intensely and so long, and often, usually from extremely surprising quarters where people make you feel very safe and then pull the carpet out from under your feet.
And they'll do stuff like they'll say, "Oh, they've got really low self-esteem, haven't they?" And then they'll proceed to harass and intimidate them constantly. For the next...
And if, it's obvious, there are a lot of people who are like that, right? But, as you know...
They've all got their hands up now, they're being boarded.
Oh, the Matek flotilla is being boarded. But as you know, I am the sort of person who, I think, as a result of being a person who has been sort of relentlessly bullied in my life from various quarters, I think I've never had it apart from now, because I finally basically snapped and everything changed inside me, and I was suddenly blessed with the power of speech, where I can talk constantly and consistently for hours and hours and hours on end without any need to break for thought, maybe occasionally for water, but not anything else. And now when I go outside, I relentlessly talk to strangers, as you know. And I talk to strangers possibly about things they weren't expecting me to talk about, because... And I do it deliberately because, A, I think it's nice to bring a bit of surprise into people's days, but B, I think it's a sort of personal revenge on the schoolyard culture. And I would say all autistic people, rather than putting their heads down and looking at their feet, which I spent my life doing, realise that all the people around you, most of them don't have any thoughts going on in their head.
It's just
and they're thinking like a baboon, and all they're interested in is status. And if you're like me, you're just not interested in status because you think it's made up. So consider yourself separate from them, float amongst them, and dress in such a way as to be exciting and mildly intimidating.
Not in a baby grow.
And to me, this is how the autistic person should now, by necessity, interface with society, because these are dangerous times, these are rather horrible times.
And we need people who are outside of the system and ostracised by the system, who can see... I mean, I've been reading... Delueze Guattari. Is that how you say his name?
Wow!
But basically,
Delueze and Guattari.
They have this. They have this concept, and when they're using the term, it's a thing called schizoanalysis, and it's sort of. I mean, it's different terminology because it's the 70s, I think. Anyway, they're also describing autistics and autistic people and people who tend to have been institutionalised. Yeah, bear in mind, if I'd have been born at a slightly different time, good chance that I might have ended up in an institution, which may or may not be... I mean, there's been times when I've sort of...
Me too.
Actually, just as an aside, the weird irony there is there were many times where I was in acute psychosis... really just like missing time. I mean, I might have been abducted, but you never know. But anyway, what I assume was psychosis. Many times where I really could have done with being sectioned, and every time I went into the doctor, they were like, "Oh no, you're just putting it on. You're being pretentious." Blah 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 blah. Like times that I really could have done with it. Like one time they dropped me off in front of the closed doors of the whatever you call it, the inpatients bit, and just shoved me in the street. And then now, when I have kind of like, I wouldn't say like I still have bad patches, but I know the order and the routine of like my problems and like what's more likely to. Turns out that it wasn't actually psychosis, and it was a mixture of like a blood pressure condition and like some other stuff, which then brings on like these very acute sort of panic attacks, and dissociative seizures, which I often am like have to go and have medical attention. But now that I talk to the NHS about sort of like being fine, they keep trying to like restrain me in like random situations, like when I'm trying to get a blood test and have to take my jumper off because it's too hot.
Although not around here in Devon.
Not here, but you know,
where
I'm not really holding my breath about any of it.
I have to say that my dealings with the NHS here in Devon has been exemplary.
Yeah.
All my prescriptions have turned up on time. The GP's been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, they've been really great.
In Bristol,
it was awful.
Oh my goodness!
It was like a conspiracy. It turns out that Bristol have got a very high.
Oh my goodness! Look at those water cannons.
It's crazy. Yeah, it was. What was I talking about? I was talking about.
You were talking about Delueze Guattari. Wow!
Well, he was talking about. They were talking about people. They weren't just talking about people with psychosis. They were talking about anyone like the institution, and they were saying that, you know, the kind of the person who tends to get institutionalized in the past for autism and psychosis and stuff, it tends to come out at the disjunctions of society, as in like these things where the person like literally can't tether on to the main society, and so then it creates the problem, like, which is basically that is the social model of disability, isn't it? That you're disabled by the society. So, you know, I can't really remember why we were. Well, yeah. So that the point is, we're all kind of being. There's this thing that they also talk about in reference to. You know more about Artaud and
What's
stuff.
going on here then?
Oh dear.
Is that Greta Thunberg being
I'm not sure.
It looks like it was going on for a police gang, and I think she is taking a walk, which I'm very happy about it, but she has been on that boat for a long time. Right, more water on
so they're water cannoning all the boats?
It's very interesting that
You'll know about this because this is 2 days after.
Yeah, well, they probably won't really talk about it on the news because they
Oh no, they won't.
They're treating Greta Thunberg, perhaps the most recognisable face on the boat, with a great deal of what looks like care, offering her a jacket, giving her some water.
And here we are going through history.
It's amazing that no one seems to really.
500 people.
You know what would be nice? A no-news day.
Seems to really care.
But it's definitely Greta Thunberg, and I'm sure she'd be very annoyed by this being used as a bit
Of course, it would be
Thunberg,
Thunberg.
I'm not saying she obviously had no choice.
All this time I've been ignorantly saying Thunberg.
Attention by
Thunberg.
the Israeli military, and they're wasting no time in putting that to use in rendering their own image.
Yeah, so
Right, we've got some more boat images here. Here we are. This is our footage.
We've spent
in Belgium a spontaneous.
Everybody's protesting everywhere.
yeah,
They've
they
shut
are.
everything down
They are.
initially, haven't
Yeah.
they?
The street, freedom
and
being waved.
we've spent, you know, now the whole world the population seems to be realising finally what's actually going on.
Or maybe it's just that people can't ignore it anymore.
Yeah. And we've spent the last 2 years shouting loud about this because when I found out about the Holocaust and the rise of Nazism, I said to my young self, well, I'm going to be someone who opposes this if it ever happens again. I didn't think it was going to happen.
No, I thought people had a little bit...
Yeah,
I mean,
a little bit of a perspective on
societal
history.
standards. You know, it seems to be a pattern, doesn't it? That every 30 years or so, it's long enough for people to forget.
No, but we can't say it's a pattern because there's not enough iterations of that.
No, but at the moment
we've only lived in the magical military world
of lots of people sort of mass manufacturing things that really, really look very, very phallic. All of it. I mean, I always get into trouble for saying this just about this, but it is just about this, isn't it?
Well,
you're destroying an entire swathe of the world. I think that says something about, you know, your private life.
Yeah. But we've spent...
Like, otherwise, why do you have this pathology?
We've spent the last 2 years shouting about this and have had various people sort of ostracising us. We've lost work. We've been internationally smeared in the Wire magazine.
Yeah, and that was the case of people wanting to use some pre-existing beef.
Yeah.
I think that was. And we were talking about this, like back to that earlier. I found a book recently in the charity shop, which was first-hand accounts of the rise of the Nazis. By date, it was all arranged sequentially, so you could go through, and it was from the beginning-ish of the rise of the Nazis through to everything after.
Everything after what, including now?
No, not including now, but somebody the other day said something about... I can't remember when we were talking about it, and someone was talking about winning the Second World War. Like, well, nobody won
that, yeah.
Did they? It wasn't really... I think that's not really a good way of thinking about it.
No.
But anyway, I was reading the thing about the rise of the Nazis, and it was all about sort of like exercising pre-existing beef with your neighbours that you hate and selling them out, and all this stuff about putting signs around people's necks and parading them through the street.
Yeah.
And it all
there's a reason.
You know what? It just really looks like now.
Yeah,
so,
there's a reason they call it populism. I always wondered why they called it populism. And it seems they call it populism because fascism is what most people want. And I don't understand why.
It's because they're all petty and they want to have like power and want to feel like a god. So if they can restrict everyone else, then that's... everybody hates animals. They take all their, they do the same thing. They treat the world...
Is it that
in this way with no respect for anything?
Further to that, the idea that people use it to enact pre-existing beef. Is it that the fascist system, people see great leader or whatever, and they realize, like they see it as aspirational, and so
That's
they attempt to enact it in their day-to-day lives themselves.
Because they all have this
thought they know they can get
head.
away with it because the behavioural precedent has been set by the system. So, if, for example, your great leader is an orange guy with really weird hair, who's been found guilty on many charges of rape, then many people in the country will find that they can enact that attitude. If you have a leader like we have here in the form of Fat Blair, who is just a completely amoral opportunist with no ethical core at all, and I hate to agree with Rishi Sunak about something, but he was saying that about Keir Starmer, that this is a man with no ethics, and this is clearly true. So you get an entire population who also have no ethics.
No one
In
has
North
any.
Korea, they have a jolly little fat man as a leader. And so I think they're apparently all lovely. That was a good rule of 3, wasn't it? Take that, stand-up comedians. What is this singing? Is this people on the boat?
I don't know. Oh, it's the Italian. I think the Italian dock workers have all said that if they do something, well, I'm not sure what the actual quote was. They said that they're going to shut down everything if they, with the flotilla, if they threaten it.
Yeah, so proper protest. Unlike what we do in this country, which is go to a legally designated place by the government.
Hold up a
Yes,
sign.
you can do it here. Hold up a sign and put it on Instagram into Mark Zuckerberg's system and make money for him. I know that I'm also guilty at the moment of posting on social networks, but in my defence, I wasn't on social networks for absolutely ages until they started this let's kill everyone in Gaza party that they're doing, and that left me with no choice but to use any.
I really don't want to be like.
I hate being on the
Meta.
internet. I hate being on the internet now, but you know, if we're left with,
the internet at all, yeah.
we're left with very, very limited, which is very weird, but we have very, very limited capacity for communication. With the internet now, we have more limited capacity for communication than we've ever had, because all of it is controlled, and we can see from social media statistics that posts about a particular subject get blocked from visibility, and that's been happening to us for 2 years.
Yeah, and everything involving supporting real violence is fine, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, at the moment I've got this, I don't know, is it good to talk about it? I mean, when it actually just bring attention to the guy doing, you know...
Oh, well, you can talk about the stupid
Well, you
guy.
could talk about it, actually. It's better if you do.
Well, there's not a lot to say. He's just one of those boring guys who likes to shout at people on the internet.
Yeah, but it's
But
kind
he's
of
really
like...
taken a liking to us two.
Well,
Or maybe to you.
Me. But it's like the rabid foaming of the mouth is indicative of a state of arousal in many different ways. I mean that in the sort of like psychoanalysis way and other... because, I don't know, everybody just looks like it's like a sort of orgiastic, sort of weird performative ritual that people are going through to be... To
as
sort of
horrible
like,
as
I just
possible.
don't like to kind of lose all standards. It's
Yeah.
sort of like of everything.
Yeah. And here's the thing that I think it's really good to have standards. I think it's really good to sort of have high standards, high expectations of behaviour, of conduct. And by that, I mean just being civil with people.
Yeah. I really just don't.
Being civil with people is too difficult.
Rabid, foaming at the mouth.
Yeah. If being civil with people is too difficult, then you have a real problem.
Yeah.
Hey, Mum, Dad. So we've just seen some live footage, as we were saying, of Greta Thunberg being arrested by the Israeli government. I want to say a few words about Greta Thunberg because loads of people hate Greta, don't they? And they say, of course, yes, they say violent things about her and so on. But I'm sorry. The reason they do that is they're aware that Greta Thunberg is probably the coolest person in the entire Western world.
Yeah,
I mean, literally. I would define cool people as like rebels.
Yeah.
You know, but like rebels in this like, well, just rebels, because like if you're like going and throwing your weight about and shouting right-wing ideology, you're not rebelling. You're doing what the prevalent system wants you to.
And also, if you're just sort of like taking on sort of tokenistic visual representations of the left that previously existed, and you spend most of your time talking about Harry Potter and doing quizzes online about which house you're in Harry Potter, and you spend your entire 20s doing that and using sort of this fetishistic language and ploughing loads and loads of money into the system of like buying tat and then tipping it into landfill.
Yeah.
You all seem to hate her as well.
Yeah, but that's the weird thing, is that when like fascists are shouting at me, or you, I mean, it's you know, it's not a rare occurrence.
Most of the time. I mean, they started doing it through the window as well.
But when fascists are shouting at me, I think like, well, if these people lived in a utopian, lovely society where man was living in accord with nature, we had interstellar travel, and we can teleport, and we can jump between dimensions, we can time travel, everything on Earth is perfectly functional, every surface is covered in plants. My question is, in that sort of society, would fascists still exist?
Yeah, I'm wondering about this, because like, you know, they all, I don't know,
because the root of, well, certainly not the root of the idea, but the root by which fascist ideas take like, plant themselves in a society and propagate, like we've seen in this country, is when there's like a whole swathes of the population who feel they have no future, no direction, and they have nothing to think about, and quite frankly, these people are very easily swayed by the enthusiasm of somebody going, they're doing this to you, it's them, it's got nothing to do with me and my millions and millions and millions, it's them doing it, and they've convinced all of these like young men and young women and old men and old women, people who are literally in the employ of Israel, Tommy Robinson, Katie Hopkins, that's not like a libelous thing to say, that's a fact. There's tons of evidence of this. Tommy Robinson in his lovely IDF t-shirt and all that. They've been duped into thinking that they're behaving patriotically by serving the interests of a massive rogue state, and I just have to think that if these people who think in these like stupid racist ways, I ain't going to get started on the subject of homophobia, because we all know what homophobia is, really, don't we? Somebody's a bit repressed.
Yep.
That's all it is. I've slightly lost my thread, but just I have to think that these large swathes of society could be, to use a word which I think is perfectly appropriate, to reconstitute and bring back and reclaim. These can be radicalized, these young people, into different ways of thinking, into ways of thinking where you're maybe blaming the billionaires for the problems, you may be blaming the system, which is like destroying the astral body that you live on, and you haven't done that, especially you young people. You really haven't done it. You haven't been around long enough to do any damage. You didn't do it. It's not your fault. It's their fault. But you can make a better world. But you're not gonna make a better world by walking around in grey jogging bottoms saying you don't like Muslims.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, by this point, Muslims don't like you either.
No.
But I know who I'd rather
No.
hang out with.
Yeah, yeah, okay, right, so Tommy Robinson's link here, there's an article from The Observer dated in, well, they don't actually put it on their website, so that's, 14th of September, so the other day. And it's...
That one's about American money.
Well, yeah, but the link with Tommy Robinson is that 2018... he got funded by a right-wing... He got funded to transform himself into this citizen journalist when he was saying all that.
What journalism does he do?
Yeah, I mean, he got funded by US tech billionaire Robert Shillman, who funded...
Charlie Kirk funded him.
With millions of dollars. So... so this guy's involved with Charlie Kirk, and then
Tommy Robinson is making a lot of money,
like
from talking about hating
Muslims. Like this.
There's a quote: Bitcoin is the free speech of money.
The Shillman guy, who calls himself Dr. Bob, went to MIT. He's in the transatlantic, quote, counter-jihad movement. He's invested with many fellowships, working with Tommy Robinson's Rebel News. And
is that the name of Tommy Robinson?
I think so.
You're not... Listen, Tommy Robinson boys, you're not rebelling if you're backing the prevalent system. And the prevalent system on this planet is US, UK imperialism.
Yeah, and so this guy... he's just a horrible racist. He also paid Katie Hopkins.
Katie Hopkins made a TV show about the mass slaughter of South Africa's whites.
Yeah.
A white genocide in South Africa,
Trump,
which apparently just didn't happen at all.
Donald Trump repeated that
she's exciting, isn't
conspiracy
she?
theory, blah 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 blah, and then so this guy who's funding everyone, Shillman, he's a former board member of Friends of the Israeli Defense Forces.
Right. Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's like
it's not conspiracy theory, guys. It's just real.
Specifically, the army. He's not. It's not that he's working with like Israeli people. He's working with the Israeli.
He's working for the military and for Israeli intelligence.
And the thing I don't understand. So Steve Bannon,
which is amazing. I thought you had to be intelligent to work in intelligence.
Yeah, I know.
The name would seem to imply it. Is the intelligence service is run by just really, really stupid people?
Really, it's like that sort of like, I think the lady doth protest too much sort of thing, isn't it? But these people, like, why have they whipped everyone up into this? Why do people find this man interesting? This Tommy Robinson man interesting? Why? All the same people.
Yes, but you can go back. But you
used to have hobbies.
But
they
you can go back
other than just being
and look at the fascist leaders of World War II. Was Mussolini a sex pot? No, he was a big, slovenly, pompous egg of a man. Yeah. Was Hitler a pin-up? No. I mean, Adolf Hitler looked like a cabbage with a mustache stuck on the front.
Yeah.
He looked like a cabbage that had gone off and had like a piece of gaffer tape, a square of gaffer tape on the front. This guy was not hot. And you get told that Hitler was a charismatic speaker.
What?
You get told that Mussolini was a charismatic speaker. And then you see footage of them. We get told...
Boris Johnson.
We get told Boris Johnson is charismatic.
Is he?
We get told Nigel Farage is charismatic. And all of these people are the least charismatic people, I mean, surely that have ever existed. I can't, off the top of my head, think of anyone less charismatic than Nigel Farage.
No, I know. Oh, well, Adolf Hitler.
I mean, they might be equally uncharismatic.
The fact is...
I don't know if you can start to grade them in terms of how uncharismatic they are, but Nigel Farage, in terms of living people, I mean...
I got someone shouting at us outside.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I'm paranoid, aren't I?
But this
in the end
this
times,
guy with no charisma, no public speaking skills, no sense of oratory, no ideas, no comic timing, no wit, and it's the same as Hitler. Hitler was a man almost with no brain. Like Hitler didn't write Mein Kampf. He sat in his prison cell with Rudolf Hess and he shouted and Rudolf Hess sat with his typewriter like livid Cartland.
Yeah, really angry
and
really racist.
And he shouted, "I hate everybody. Oh, Germany's brilliant, but I hate everyone. I hate everyone except people with blonde hair and blue eyes.
Unless they have ethics.
Yeah, blonde hair and blue eyed people with ethics who are interested in things, and if they make weird art, oh my goodness, I don't want them anywhere near me." And Rudolf Hess sat there. That was my impression of Hitler. And Rudolf Hess sat there typing away and turned it into sentences. Because, I doubt Mr. Hitler could write down sentences.
He doesn't seem
Uncle Donald, he can't write sentences down, can he?
I don't understand this charismatic speaker thing.
No,
because he
they're
seems
not charismatic.
completely incoherent and just babbling with this, like, rage arousal thing.
Now, who is a charismatic speaker? Who's alive now? I would say Avi Loeb is a charismatic speaker.
I'd say Chomsky.
Chomsky was because he can't talk anymore, but he was a deeply charismatic speaker. Slavoj Žižek is a deeply charismatic speaker. Kenneth Williams was a deeply charismatic speaker. Peter Cook was a deeply charismatic speaker. Borges was a deeply charismatic speaker. But somehow, this kind of like true, real, burning charisma doesn't have any impact on people.
No.
And the majority of people want somebody going, I
just don't understand it. It's like,
I don't like people. I don't like people if they don't like
what is it about hating?
Oh, I love that guy. He's so cool.
Gets people off so much.
Yeah, he's so cool, isn't he?
And I just can't see it as anything other than a weird libido thing, really.
But we have some serious disclosure for you also this week. The performance artist and punk singer G.G. Allin, who many people detest. His work was in his life were very, very, very extreme. He once defecated on the stage and threw it into the audience. Once
there was the thing with the banana.
Stuck a banana where the sun don't shine. Things like fighting the audience on stage, immolations and so on.
But it's that thing where people say, "Well, no one ever really stumbled into a G.G. Allin gig."
But he lived this very, very extreme life, and then he died of taking far too many drugs one night. And, today we found out that before G.G. Allin was born and was in utero, G.G. Allin's father
had a vision.
Had a vision that his son was going to be an important figure in the world. An angel came and told him that. And so, when G.G. Allin was born, as a consequence of this dream, the name G.G. is an abbreviation for what his full name was, which was Jesus Christ Allin. So, if a vision came and said this special man was going to be born, and then he was born and his name was Jesus Christ. I mean, objectively,
like functionally.
Yeah, because his name is Jesus Christ, he is Jesus Christ.
The Franciscans.
You can't say he's not Jesus Christ if his name is Jesus Christ.
St. Francis as the second coming, and I also, as a good space Catholic, I agree. But since all this stuff needs updating into a sort of post-industrial climate with taking into account neoliberalism and all of the other species on the planet. So I figure, there's a gap in the market for space Catholicism. It's already been established.
And G.G. Allen,
praise be Ken Russell. So we're already canonising saints. So in our church, which is the new brackets like NU brackets metal close brackets. Franciscan Church of Space Catholicism, and Eric Satie, the conductor, or the carpenter. Sorry, there might be some more, but I don't know whether we need to include G.G. Allen in that.
I think Avi Loeb needs to be one of our saints.
Oh yeah, Avi Loeb.
G.G. Allen can just be literally Jesus.
He's like the third coming.
He's Jesus Christ.
Do we recognise
G.G. Allen is literally Jesus Christ. I'll recognise Marx as long as we can recognise Father Christmas.
Yeah, well, we can, but is Marx another? Is it Marx like the third coming of Jesus? They can't. You've sort of said this before.
Well,
sort of.
No. You see, Marx wasn't the second coming. Jesus.
No, St. Francis was the second coming.
Well, no, Jesus was born and died and then resurrected, right? St. Francis came along and had. I believe from my esoteric knowledge that he wasn't a reincarnation of Jesus, but he was full of the light of Jesus, because Jesus, remember, how could Jesus be reincarnated? Because Jesus wasn't dead.
That's a good point.
Yeah, he's come back to life, so he didn't die, and he just continued to live. As he did,
he's still alive.
He got old, as he did, he got old and beardy, and he saw that everything was going towards secularism, and then, in the 19th century, under the name Karl Marx, he wrote the Communist Manifesto. When he saw that capitalism had won outright, he decided to start distributing wealth around the children of the world, put on a lovely red hat, got himself some nice reindeer, and stored up all of his communism until once a year on the night of the 24th of December, when he goes around distributing the wealth.
And that's why,
unfortunately,
on Karl Marx's grave, he's got a really massive head, because of he sees you when you're sleeping.
Exactly.
So because he's got big eyes.
Unfortunately, as part of their regular UAP-related operations, in the mid-1970s, the American government did, in fact, shoot down Father Christmas and killed God when they did that.
Well, they're always doing that, aren't they? That's what they're doing at the moment in Palestine, since Jesus is Palestinian.
Yeah. But that opened up the ether for Christ to finally be reincarnated as the second coming, which we now know was popular banana fetishist performance artist G.G. Allen, a.k.a. Jesus Christ. So how about that?
Yeah, well, you can join the church if you want, although I'm still a bit undecided as to whether I want any members. But, should we play some music and then get back to the...
Yeah.
Or we could play some music from Ezz's album.
Well, we played the whole of Ezz's album.
But we should talk about... we spent most of the week...
worried about
thinking
Ezz,
that...
because we didn't hear from him.
Yeah, because he
wasn't online.
He was in trying to evacuate from Gaza City.
And now he has.
And
so here
we've heard from him.
It's some Ezz Khalifa to celebrate.
Brilliant.
And what was it Ezz said earlier? He sent me a wonderful message. He said, check me out. So here's Ezz.
I think
check him out.
We should play the football one.
On Bandcamp.
أما بنذكر نبينا نور في قلوبنا والشوق ده زايد علينا وفي حب دبنا أما بنذكر نبينا نور في قلوبنا والشوق ده زايد علينا وفي حب دبنا والروح ترفرف تروح له تطلب له أنا صلي وسلم على النبي تفرح معانا.
That was Ezz Khalifa from his beautiful album Gaza Sings Despite the Wounds and Pain, which you can find exclusively on Bandcamp at ergophizmizmusic.bandcamp.com. I'm going to spell it ERGOPHIZMIZMUSIC.bandcamp.com. There you will also find the music of the 18, or is he 19 now? Was it Sammy's birthday the other day? Oud Maestro Sami Madoun, and the astonishing work of Ahmed Mouin and the Gaza Birds Singing Project. Today would be a good day to go online and buy those things, because today it is Bandcamp Friday. When
it's nice that musicians have got something to look forward to.
It is.
There's not much to look forward to as a musician.
No.
But
so go online, ERGOPHIZMIZ music.bandcamp.com. Listen to this remarkable music by remarkable people living in unimaginable circumstances, and buy the music and pay generously, because this money goes directly towards these guys.
And England doesn't really have a folk culture, so go and listen to other people's.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of it might fill the void.
Yeah. That is Ezz's amazing music, and with it being Bandcamp Friday, you can have a party as well. You can buy Ezz's music generously buying, and then you can buy your favorite snack and your favorite sweet treat, your favorite tipple, and you can sit at home in your slippers, jingling your bells, and listen to the wonderful sound of Ezz Khalifa, Sami Madoun and Ahmed Mouin, the maestros of Gaza. And that was Father Christmas.
Saying this is a good series of tapes to send to your relatives.
Yes, I didn't say that, did I?
For Christmas.
Digital and cassette. So you can get them for your friends as well. If they haven't got a cassette player, then they should get one. You can get them very cheap. eBay. Very cheap. And the reason we're doing cassette is that vinyl now is completely unaffordable unless you're like really, really rich, which we aren't. And the internet is a fragile place. Data is not safe.
One strong solar flare.
Yeah, exactly.
I was in
but also just, censorship, removal of things.
Or just arbitrary deletion of stuff. Lightning, flooding, climate change.
Exactly. So
Elon Musk.
This work releasing the music of the maestros of Gaza, I've got like a nice soundbite there with that, haven't I? With the maestros of Gaza, is of course, naturally, it's about the music and the immense talent and personalities of these remarkable people. It's as much about that as it's about the very, very vital act of preserving this work.
But it's,
Because we're in the process of watching a genocide, and the point of a genocide is to try to
destroy
eradicate a culture. So there's nothing that might annoy those doing the genocide than preserving physically the voice, the magnificent flying bird voice of Palestine, depositing it in people's houses all over the world, which is what we've been doing.
As well is a while ago, I bought an album a while ago online, which was called Piano Music of Palestinian Composers, and it was it was all played by Fadi Deeb. Can't buy it on Amazon anymore, funnily enough.
No, it's gone.
But
gone from the streaming
but there was
services.
this. It's amazing. There's a whole modernist movement of really brilliant piano music that sort of has this kind of strange harmonic, kind of inverted, deconstructed kind of baroque counterpoint. In the way that all the music that was made by composers during Stalinism, and sort of Shostakovich and everything, all these interesting harmonic choices and stuff. And we've all had this brilliant music that all has, like, as Prokofiev does, it has the way of transcribing these situations into the artwork, and we've all had it hidden from us. So does that not make you angry that, like, this piano, like, for me as a pianist, like, this piano music, it's all been hidden away from me, and it could have vastly improved my technique, and I would have a new musical opinion.
Yes, the cultural genocide of the Palestinians has been going on our whole life.
And consider that, I know that nobody really thinks about the technicalities of music unless they're actually involved in it, but actually think about consider the point that the different scale forms that are used in that part of the world. So the representation of that is an entire sound palette that if you kill everything, you destroy that. And Middle Eastern music has a lot of incredible polyrhythm stuff.
No, it'll be great. We can just have neoliberal pop music.
Yeah, you just have like do do do, but all of the sort of videos I've seen of musical activities in Palestine of kids in Gaza singing music, they all have far better understanding of polyrhythm, syncopation, harmony, singing technique.
Well, let us just remind the world that the Palestinian people
they're all are
the most literate population in the world.
Musically literate from a very young age.
Yeah.
And in our culture, we completely ignore all of this and deny everybody of any personhood because that's the entire operating mechanism of this society.
Yeah, and on that
note... So why don't try and listen to some better music?
Yeah, and on that note, here's some better music. This is Sound Art Radio.
We'll start, Joseph, with a difference with the one and the only Mr. Cliff Richard. I fancy I close my eyes, drew back the curtain to see for certain what I thought I knew. Mr. Neil Diamond. Far, far away, yes. Someone was weeping, but the world was sleeping. When a dream will do. Mr. David Essex. I wore my coat, yeah. We go bright colors shining, yeah. Wonderful and new. Mr. George Michael. And in the east, oh yeah, the dawn was breaking, and the world was awaking, in a dream will do. The one and the only Mr. David Bowie. A crush of drums, a flash of light, my golden coat, it flew out of sight. The colours faded into darkness. I was left alone. The one and the only Mr. Max Bygraves. May I return, yeah. And soon to like the loincloth, yeah. I want to tell you a story. The light is dimming, alright, yeah. And the dream is too. Mr. Stevie Wonder. The world and we are still waiting. We're still hesitating.